What's going on, everyone? So, big question with this upcoming Scream film is how many Ghostface will be in this film, right? There are rumors kind of circulating that this could potentially be finally the cult type of following with Ghostface. Scream 5 and 6 kind of laid the groundwork for that. So, maybe they finally capitalize on it. As we saw in Scream 6, there was three main killers. Technically, there were five, but the main killers were three. What direction do they go? Do they go with three again? Do they go with two? Do they go with one? I made a whole video breaking down and kind of going over my thoughts on the number of killers. But in this video, what I want to talk about, also go check out that previous video. But this video, what I want to talk about, and of course, want to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below, is okay, let's say they go with the cult idea, or they don't go with the cult idea. Let's say they go with like multiple killers, say several, say it's like four or five, right? It's like a group that's operating, right? Do they kind of have the usual play out of said Ghostface? And then maybe this time, kind of something that we've talked about in previous Scream films is kind of let one get away, right? Now, they could go about that one of two ways. So, every Scream movie has kind of had, and something that they've teased, or they wanted to tease in multiple Scream films, is like the ghost face at the end, with slash in the screen, or popping up real quick. In Scream 2, the original idea, the original concept was as Sydney is walking, through that kind of courtyard on the grass field, that when it pans to that bell tower, originally Ghostface was supposed to be in that bell tower, right, looking down at Sydney, signaling like, hey, there's going to be another film, right? What if instead they kind of do that route, right? With Kevin Williamson back, that could be an idea that he kind of implements, something that they've always wanted to do, that maybe now he finally gets to do it, which is, again, say you play it out like you usually do, because in a lot of ways we all kind of just want the big reveal and who's who and the big showdown at the end. But then what if at the end, whether they use the cult idea or they just kind of have like a leader that hey, isn't doing the dirty work, that's kind of setting up for future films, because they're going to do more films, and I'll touch on that here more in a minute. But what if they kind of have something where at the end, maybe Ghostface is watching in the distance, or they pan to a Ghostface walking and approaching the building they're in or something, right? Kind of setting the stage for the next Scream film. Or again, they kind of use the bell tower idea, right? Maybe everybody thinks it's over, all is good, they're walking away, and maybe a Ghostface is standing on the roof or something and kind of gazing down on our characters that survived. That could be an approach. If they go the cult route, then I do think that might make a little more sense, right? Like maybe the cult leader, you're setting up this grand, like, oh, you're going to have this big showdown with the leader of the Ghostface cult, and maybe kind of set that and establish that throughout. The other way is that you just go and one kind of gets away, right? Like you could do something where, maybe they do the reveals or whatever, and one just doesn't take the mask off, and you don't do a reveal for one. That killer shows up right after they take out, let's say two. Like let's say there's three killers, right? Say Sydney and the gang take out the first two. They think it's over. Another Ghostface shows up and attacks. They fight him off or whatever. They think that they killed him. They haven't revealed his face yet or her face yet. And then, the classic turnaround and they're gone. And it's like, oh no, Ghostface is still out there. And they can kind of, again, set up future films. Because, look, they're going to make more. Because, one, if they were going to stop making these films, they probably would have already done it with Scream 6, given all of the chaos and mess that happened to kind of get to this film, right? And then secondly, they mentioned this before, they paid like $500 million to get the rights to Scream and the catalogs and everything like that. But Scream was the real grand prize. They're probably going to have to get to Scream 10 just to make the profit to offset that. right? Because yes, these Scream movies have made money, but they're not making hundreds of millions in profit. They're not really making much money at all when you take into account everything that goes into, the theater pays and the marketing and all of that stuff, right? So they, let's say, best case scenario, are probably pulling in couple tens of millions, if that. It might not even be that much given all the pays. And you hear all the box office fake inflations and all these studios that are losing a ton of money per film. I don't see Scream kind of doing the opposite. Because you got to keep in mind, just because a film, let's say, had a budget of like 50 million, right? Marketing is usually double, if not triple that amount. So I mean, they could be in it 100+ million when all is said and done, especially the way that they've marketed like Scream 5 and stuff like that. Stuff isn't cheap. And so, let's say bare minimum it cost 100 million for everything. Then they got to split everything with the movie or the movie theaters, and then you have all the other stuff behind the scenes. I mean, they're probably not making tons and tons of money, right? They're probably going to, again, need to make multiple of these films. So I just don't see them stopping at Scream 7. Maybe we get a little hiatus in between, but just the way that they keep wanting to pump this out year after year, and the fact that it is Scream and Ghostface, you kind of can, right? You can kind of just pump it out year after year. You don't really have to worry about like, oh, it's Michael Myers, so you have to reboot it or you have to reset it or whatever, right? No, every film is kind of its own thing. And I do think that they're going to try to lay the groundwork for a potential trilogy, right? Does that mean we'll get a trilogy? No. But if this film has the success that the other ones had and makes the box office money that the other ones have, then they're obviously going to keep making these films because something positive is happening, right? And then you make some money back, and it's good for just the studios and things like that. So my guess is that maybe they try to lay the groundwork for a trilogy or at least a sequel to this one, which if that's the plan and that's what they're going to do, then I would imagine that you could kind of get away with like finally doing the Ghostface gets away, or the non-reveal, right? Because it would be cool to kind of have like that, like, oh, here's, instead of that slash at the end, like, oh, another film is coming, right? They do it after all of them, right? You get that little, oh, there you go. The only one that they didn't do it after was Scream 3, right? Because that was originally supposed to be the end. That was originally supposed to be when it was said and done. And then obviously we got 4, now 5, 6, and we're on our way to Scream 7. I don't know. It's something that we've talked about. It's something that, we've all kind of thrown around ideas. And I know many of you have thrown in the comments over the years and stuff. I just think that this is a real opportunity to maybe do something like that, kind of set stuff up, put yourself in a direction for the future. As long as this film is good and convincing and tells a good story. I mean, there are already like reports stuff that like, hey, if this goes well with Sid and Nev Campbell, then they want to kind of continue and kind of, they feel like there's more story to be told. So they're obviously looking towards the future and towards more films. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? Do you think that, like, yeah, like, that sounds great, let's do something like that? Do you think, no, like, you got to have the standard conclusive, here you go, all said and done type Scream movie? I say it all the time, right? Like, execution, delivery, good storytelling. I think you could do it. I think you get away with it. Because, again, if this is a good movie, tell a good story, you have good character building, you have a good direction, then why wouldn't they do another film? Why wouldn't they want to set up for the future? Problem is like you're kind of, putting the cart before the horse. But to me, it's like if you're a studio, right? You've seen the success of the previous films. You kind of take the risk, kind of take the chance, right? And I mean, you could do it and have that set up, and that doesn't mean that you have to do a film like immediately. It just kind of builds the anticipation or whatever, and kind of gives you something to carry on or piggyback off of later on down the road if you wanted to. But I don't know. I think it'd be fun. I think it'd kind of keep us all engaged, keep us all invested, keep us all like, oh, what's going to happen? Like, how are they going to approach this? But You really got to hit on that ending, in my opinion, if you're going to do something like that. And the film, period. And get some good characters, right? Because Scream 5 kind of lacked in just the character development department. 6 did a better job, but we need more, just like, oh, here you go. But anyway, again, how you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.